Oh God. Well, what's been going on with you, brother?
Yeah, so a lot of different things. I got production and I got agents coming on and everything else. It's really cool. It's fun because I'm getting more work with the agent attraction because I'm handling all of the meetings and the onboarding and the join
Just
apps
like we
and
were talking about.
but at the same time, so much of my time has been freed up because there are agents through my agents. So
Mhm.
I'm doing the outreach and trying to find them all and doing all these cold calls or messages or whatever. It's just a number and a phone number comes to me and it's like, hey, I spoke to her about EXP. She's interested. Reach out. And I'm like, cool. So make a
Yeah.
call, set an appointment. Another one, make a call, set an appointment. Another one. So I got like I'm just doing that. I'm just doing that and I'm following up with a bunch of them. And I've had to like put it into a CRM where I can like set up the stages, like where they are, model
Mhm.
explain, buy in if they need like third party validations, follow up, follow up, follow up, deal signed. So I've got everything laid out to keep track of it all. So it's really cool. It's fun because it's a new kind of thing for me. It's new, all of this trying to bring people on board that I haven't had to reach out to directly.
Yeah.
Nice. It's cool. It's cool. And for
That's
some reason,
awesome.
I feel like it's easier in the sense that I don't have that reluctancy to call someone because it's not a cold call. It's,
It's a warm call.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I come into it with way more confidence and talk to them like we've known each other for years when it's my first time speaking to them ever, and it's just cool. It's a nice flow to the conversation for me. That
Yeah.
that'll be different for everyone, but for me, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And then yeah, of course, I've got um referrals and stuff coming to me about selling properties too at the same time. So
Nice.
I'm I'm kind of I'm kind of
That's
happy
it.
with yeah how things are going
Well,
right now. Nice.
and what you're experiencing too is that leverage. And that's
Yeah.
it. When you're able to duplicate a system and have others follow that duplication, that's when it becomes easier. And then you're freeing up your time. And because your time is more valuable than money. So that's
Yeah.
that's a huge piece. And then just like you said, you're focusing on this, but you're also getting other referrals to come in. So that's cool. So production can keep going. And then, as you hit that next level of production, do you refer that out? And so
Yeah.
that again, you're still making money. It's going to be a little bit less, but you're going to again free more time. You'll be able to use that time to leverage bigger on the other side. So
Yeah.
you're
And
off to the races.
and it's interesting as well because well, I don't know, it must be like a month ago or something. Oh, I have a new agent. We have a new agent, by the way. I
Hey.
just yeah, we do. Nice. Um,
Woo-hoo.
yeah, it's interesting because it was about a month ago that I made the decision that I was going to start really digging in on the agent attraction thing and helping my agents bring on agents because
Mhm.
a lot of people would like to have, but they don't want to do the work because not because they're lazy or anything, but because they're real estate agents and they want to focus on selling homes, which is what we do. That's what we're all about. So I announced it like a month ago. I was like, hey, 95.5, this is how it does. Like, I'll do everything for you. You just get in touch and send them to me and I'll handle the rest. And a couple of people are interested in it and they reached out and phoned me and they were like, oh, just give me some more info and whatever. But then this girl that's doing it now a lot, she had no idea and she just wasn't maybe paying attention or I don't know. She was too busy selling homes that she didn't know that I did this. And she just randomly reached out to me out of the blue and it's like, hey, like I have an agent. Could you maybe help me bring her on? And I was like, yes,
Right.
this is what I do now. Please bring me more.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. She started sending me a bunch. She's like, I didn't know that you did this. I was like, yeah, well, you gotta
Now you
you
do.
it opened me up a little bit to think as the leader of this group per se. I don't like to use the word leader, but
Yeah.
you
You
know what I
are.
mean.
You
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
That even
Hey,
though
hail
people are
leader. Hail leader.
even though that people are active and they're doing well, they're not always paying attention to things. So I no longer feel like I'm maybe annoying people by repeating things in the group. Like, for example, sharing the like weekly calls that I do with my team, sharing the same link every single week. I know that that's not annoying because, well, people just don't save the link, or maybe they forget for some reason. Although every week for the past 2 years, I've done the same thing. People just get busy and they forget about it. So as that leader, I think it's important that we do just
Mhm.
keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't let people forget and consistently be in touch with them. I think it's important. And you never know where your next agents are going to come through. Like this girl that's on fire with us at the moment, she's been selling homes like crazy, but nobody had no idea that she had contacts with other agents that might be interested in EXP in this case. So
Well, and
it's come out of nowhere.
that's the biggest thing, and that's where I love, what we're doing with the 95.5 is that, hey, people are producing and they're selling homes. They're making a connection with a potential another agent. And cool, go produce. We'll go do all the other work and get that other revenue share coming in underneath them. Now, now that agent, in this case, Maria Jesus, is she's still doing production and now she's going to start feeling the effect of a revenue share. And that is the life changing moment
Yep.
that a lot of agents don't see. But that's why having partners like me and you, where we could implement this stuff, take it off their hands, or just build that vision for them
Yeah. Yeah.
while they're over here producing. This is the game changer. And I love that you are experiencing it because this is what it's about. This is what our model is. It's a platform that you could build your brand even bigger, and we're going to help you every step of the way. And that's what I absolutely love. I pulled up, I did say thank you, Maria Jesus, for bringing in Elizabeth. She is in our system. So, how cool. Yes, it's great when these new agents are just joining
I
on.
know.
And it's just like that. Me and you are having a meeting and boom, we just got a new agent. So this is again those moments that as a leader, as a team leader, an owner, you want to be able to grow while you're doing other things, while you're doing your business, while you're with your family, while you're sleeping. Is everybody working in those manners? And case in point, here it is. So I love it.
That's it.
Congrats, buddy.
And I'll tell you something as well. Like if everything, if all of the agents that I had were directly my agents, and let's just say like I was making a shit ton of money through the rev share every month. That's really cool. That's life changing. Yes, everybody gets that. That's something that once you tasted it, there's no turning back. That's something that sticks with you forever, and it's amazing. But when it's one of your agents, and you're now making a shit ton every month, and then that agent is reaching out to you, your agent is reaching out to you like, oh my God, I'm making money every month passively per se, and it's growth. And he's like, I want more, and this is amazing. Thank you. And that is priceless. I cannot put a price on that feeling, which is way more than
Huge.
any amount of money that I could make off of just my tier one. That really, really is something that I'm seeing more and more of now with the growth in the organization.
Love it. Well, good. And I know you've been working hard on
Yeah.
everything. And it's these moments to just start getting that ball even as a bigger momentum. And, something, with this too, just as we're talking about the revenue share piece, it's, you know, real estate's great. We all got into it. We were excited for it. We're doing production. Majority of us are doing production. And, it is, like I said, you ride that roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I made $20,000. I made zero. I made ten thousand
Right.
dollars. I made zero. I made $20,000. I made zero. How do you budget that out? So, you got to have those numbers in line. But would you rather ride that roller coaster and cool, you made 20,000, but the next month you made zero? Um, or would it just be better to have $10,000 coming in consecutively month after month after month after month that you could count on in real estate? Wouldn't that be more beneficial? And so that's where you look to those paths saying, cool, I'm doing production right now, but I need to get on that path because that's going to leverage me just like it's doing to you right now.
Yep.
You just said it. I've got more time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Love it. I love it, man.
Yeah. And apart from that as well, no, well, it's exactly that what I'm going to talk about. I was speaking to my wife yesterday and I was like, I can't wait for the moment where rev share covers everything and it just we're completely relaxed and comfortable just because of that. I mean, I can have the production and whatever else going on as well, but if rev share can just cover that, it all I don't know, it's just amazing. It's to think about. It's something that's we're getting closer and closer,
Yep.
and it's gonna be it'll get to a point where I'm like, I don't know, I might take 3 days off work this week just
Yep.
because it's not going to completely ruin my income for the month. Whereas if I'm
Yep.
just focused on selling homes, it probably would, you know. So that's in the back of my mind, and that's super exciting. That's motivating me quite a lot, especially when you have
Good.
small kids like you and me. We both have small kids, and it'd just be nice to
Mhm.
not work today. But I'm just gonna spend time with them and do cool stuff and not be super stressed and worried. That's
100%. Yep. No, I totally agree. And you're getting there too. And that's
yeah.
it. And with that vision, it's our mindsets because we got to think bigger and better, right? Who's coming in? And so that's where as you leverage yourself and you've got a Maria Jesus that is starting to bring people in and you're helping with that, that's when you got to pivot and say, all right, how do I get more leaders like a Maria? Right.
Exactly.
So that's where that mindset goes. And that's where I was telling you too. I know you're getting a lot of appointments now from Maria and some of the other champions in the organization. So, how do you get to balance that? And so, when I was at the regional rally and
Yeah.
Hank was talking about, just time management and things like that. And then Gene Frederick came on and he was talking, same stuff, and he would have each of them would have a schedule of what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
And so I think Gene said every day at 10, 1, and 3 is when he was doing his appointments. 5 days a week, 10, 1, and 3, 10, 1, and 3, 10, 1, and
Okay.
3. And he said if somebody didn't show up, he went to go watch a movie. If whatever. Now again, I think that's further down the line. I think
Yeah,
if somebody doesn't show up for us, we should fill that with either a connection on a phone call or a social media or something um, to stay productive. When we get to Gene Frederick level, total different story, right?
exactly. That's what I was talking about with my wife. Like, I can't wait for it to get to that point. Well, maybe not like Gene Frederick level because that's insane. But I don't need that to be comfortable. But
Yep.
exactly. At the moment, yeah, we got to work hard to get there. But once
Yep.
we get there, just knowing that we can, I don't know, maybe not work today. I don't
Yep.
care. Not going to affect me at
Absolutely.
all. I can't wait for that. I can't wait.
It is. Well, and so that's where I wanted to ask you, brother, because I know you're getting your systems in place.
Yeah.
And so what I did after regional rally, I'm blocking Fridays and Mondays, and I do 10, 1, and
Okay.
3. 10, 1, and 3 are my appointment times. If I get
Okay.
if I get those twice a week, 10, 1, and 3, Monday and Friday, that's six potential appointments,
Right.
right? Six potential appointments. And those are new appointments. I'm not talking about follow-up just yet.
Yeah.
So you also have to configure that to say, hey, where does that fit in? So, and this is where I'm going to come back to you too, because I want to understand what you're doing, because um my initial reach out is to set up a call, right?
Right.
And that call for me is a video call.
Yes.
and I'm doing 20, 30 minutes. Are you doing the same thing?
I'm doing the same thing. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So we're on the same page. Reach out, set up a 20, 30-minute video call. Get
Okay.
to know that person, right? Say, hey, where are you? What, introduction, exploratory. Let's find out about that person. See if they're even a fit for us, right? Because
Well,
they may
that's
not.
it. Yeah.
Right. So we it's a two-way street. Let's talk. Let's understand them. So my thought, and I wrote it down and I've got it on my board right behind my camera here. 6 appointments a week. I talked to Michael Wiseman because I was like, hey, what do you average number wise? Um,
Right.
if you go and you set 6 appointments a week, he has a 60% show rate. 60% of those people will actually
Okay.
show up for that interview. So
Hmm.
very cool. So that's about 3.6 appointments a week,
Hmm.
which would be just a little over 14 appointments a month.
Right.
If I can convert 3% of that 14, that gives me 4 agents to join per month.
Yeah.
That's 48 plus a year.
That's
Huge.
with four a month.
Right.
It like as I said, you just never know because one of those out of the blue might bring you like six more within the next 3 months.
100%. But yeah, that's not you're exactly right. And that very well. And that's why even like on my, how many for the year, I've got 48 plus. So that way, if it gets bigger, it gets bigger. And again, with
Right.
who I'm trying to attract in my avatar, I want those team leaders. I want independent owners. I
Yeah.
want to
Right.
help them grow their business. And I know that's in our hearts of, hey, how do we help them leverage their business? And, so if I could get these appointments set up, that's going to be a huge piece. But that's where I want to put it to you, because if you're doing a 10-1-3, very similar to what Gene Frederick said, and you're only doing it twice a week, this full week, I'm actually now booked out for 2 weeks for my agent attraction appointments.
Oh wow.
And wait, let me do this. Let me pull up my calendar real fast and show you, because I want to show you tomorrow and then next Monday. Oops, I pressed the wrong one. Bear with me here. Multitasking is not good for me as I've gotten older.
It's all right. It's just a man thing, apparently.
Touche. All right, you see this?
Yes.
My calendar. All right. So really look at right here. Let me get this. Look at the 9th and then the 12th. So um
Good.
how I have it labeled, expanding horizons is number one, is my introduction video call. I call it
Okay.
expanding horizons. I use the EXP piece in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Gotcha.
that's the discover call. The next one is exploring options.
Okay.
That's to show a little bit more about the Model EXP, and get them a little involved. Then my third one, I'm going to do a third party validation, 3 for 3, right? Third party validation on
Right.
my third call.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
right. And then I'm going to go and invite, and then keep following up. Follow up, I'm calling future unlocked. Is my follow up, because I like the FU analogy in there.
Yeah,
So,
it's
so if you look at this exploring options with Magdi, he's out in Egypt. Um, that's actually a follow up. So I'm doing that at 9 o'clock. Now, again, doing international, I have to be
yeah.
conservative of that gap of time. So that's hard. Um, I'm talking to a gentleman, expanding horizons, first call at 10 o'clock. So here's my thing. I'm adhering to the 30-day, or excuse me, 20 to 30-minute mark with somebody like, I believe his name's Ahmed, at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Hmm.
Um, with him, I'm going to set the tone when I first have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. This meeting is only 20 to 30 minutes long. And then I'm watching the clock, and at the 25-minute mark, I'm starting to wrap up.
Yeah.
And what this also does is, if I need another appointment, I could squeeze it in at 10:30 right here,
Yeah. That's true.
right? because I should go from 10 to 10:30 and then I could go from 10:30 to 11 if I have to, but I'd rather not.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
I could potentially set up 3 appointments that day at 10, 1, and 3 if I have backflow 10:30, 1:30, 3:30.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Now I'm controlling that that calendar a lot more. And you'll see, I've got a little bit of a gap here, which I wanted to record a video.
Hmm.
And then I go back at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I had a 2 o'clock, but that one just canceled.
Right.
And then blue is personal. And then look at
Okay.
my Monday. My Monday's the same thing, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m. And so I've got a little variety of everything in here from first conversation of exploring, I've got expanding horizons, first one at 10 a.m. I've got a second appointment at 9 a.m. I've got a fourth or fifth appointment at 1 p.m. and then another first appointment at 3 p.m.
That's
So
awesome.
now I'm able to control that and do running it really this week, Ian. What that helped me is on Tuesday, I was able to make calls for production. On Wednesday, I was able to make calls for production. I was able to do the Global Growth Network. I was able to attend Hive, and I worked out during the Hive call.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that. Now I'm Thursday. Thursday is my video day where I go
Right.
out and record videos. So now I have focus to get Thursday done. And then Friday I could build up again. So I need to tie in a couple more days of production growth, but this way it's a lot more controllable. That hey, I'm really just focused on 2 days to build those appointments, and then outreach is daily via LinkedIn and whatnot.
Yep.
But then you can make your calls for that. So you block an hour for if you're doing cold calls for agents or prospecting. You still block those times, and then fill your appointment times.
It's really good because, and I was just talking about this the other day with one of my agents. Um, she spoke about how she can never ever join any of the trainings or any of the meetings that EXP Spain does or anything ever because appointments kind of pop up.
Mhm.
And
Always.
she's prioritizing that over what she's already got in her calendar. And I said, well, for me, that sounds like your calendar is controlling you rather than what you're doing now, which is you controlling your day or your
Yep.
calendar. Um, and I can understand where she comes from because it's like, oh, I need to sell, I need to make money. So the client comes first because that's dollar producing activity, blah, 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 and
Right.
all the rest of it. But, and I was like that for like 3 years when I first started as well.
Sure.
Um,
Me too.
oh yeah, I think everyone does. It's just normal. It's like we get into it, we need to make money. We need to eat, let's do it. Um, but I feel like when you kind of grow past that and you're kind of moving on to the next level, it's where you can start reevaluating these kind of things. And for me, it was then whatever's in my calendar is non-negotiable, unless it's something really super urgent, which
Mhm.
needs to be changed. Hey, I want to see this house on whatever street, Thursday on 10 a.m. Is that possible? Impossible. I have a meeting about how to be more productive with EXP. I can't show the house at that time, for
Yep.
example.
Yep.
For me, it's that's the best way to move. It's way more productivity and it makes you feel really good as well. When everything's so organized and you stick to it and it works,
Yep.
it feels nice.
Yep.
It works.
And no, and I like that, that that you put that in motion because it's absolutely huge. And something I tell clients, hey, I'm booked at that time,
Right.
and that's it. Nobody ever questions, oh, what are you booked with?
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're not gonna
Nobody,
ask
nobody
what's going
ever
on.
questions that. Hey, I'm booked. I could do 5 o'clock that day, or I could do tomorrow
Right.
at 2 o'clock. You know your schedule. Put those people in your schedule. They need to understand that you work on a schedule. And I think, as real estate agents, people just think, oh, you're available 24/7.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not. I actually, an agent reached out to me that I'm under contract with. We're closing next week. And She says, because in an email that we send out once we get under contract, we say, hey, congratulations, other agent. We've got a lot of detail of where we're closing, when we're doing it, XYZ all in place. On the bottom, it says times to get in touch with me. Sunday, off. I put
Right,
closed on there.
right,
Um, Saturday, by appointment only.
right.
And that's how, and so that way I'm not being bothered on a weekend.
Yeah,
If you need to get in touch with me and talk about this transaction, we could talk about it Monday through Friday. Why? Because the title company here in the United States is open. The lender is working Monday through Friday. The
yeah,
appraiser is working Monday through Friday. Everybody's working Monday through Friday except for us.
yeah.
So, so why should we talk about this transaction on a weekend when it's not going to do anything until Monday?
You can't do anything
Right.
anyway. Yeah,
So
yeah,
she applauded me. She goes, I really like that you put that on there to understand your hours. And even for my prospecting time during the day, I say morning, you can't get a hold of me until 11:30 in the morning as
right,
another agent because I need to prospect to keep business moving forward. So
right.
you have to put these borders, you have to put these limitations on your business, understand what is going to work for your business, and then also be open to those changes too, because just like you said, yeah, things are going to come up.
Yeah,
Cool. How do you position that self? I think of this. I don't have breakfast. I don't have lunch. I don't have a snack on my calendar. I don't have walk the dog on my calendar. I don't have workout on my calendar right now. I actually just took it off because I'm resetting,
right.
you know? So those are other activities that I want to be implementing in my calendar. How does that tie in? So I've got gaps, but that's why I like the 10-1-3. You've got gaps to take a quick break, maybe a mental
Yeah,
break, maybe a snack break,
yeah,
whatever.
whatever it is. Yeah, yeah.
10-1-3. And even if you're doing 10-1-3, you set up a showing at 3 o'clock because you didn't have an agent to talk to at 3 o'clock.
Right.
Oh, you know what? You know what, client? 3 o'clock just became available. Would you like to meet at that time instead? Right. Because like right now, I'm really not booking up any more appointments tomorrow. So after 2 o'clock, well, after 1:30 my time tomorrow, I'm open.
Right.
And I want to work till about 4 or 5 o'clock. So that gives me 3.5 hours. What am I going to do? Probably leave production, probably reach out to some agents.
Right. Right.
Three and a
Is
half
that,
hours. If I do 2 hours of prospecting for clients and 1 hour of agents, cool. That
yeah.
gives me a 30-minute window for what? Walking the dog, taking a break, whatever. The kids
Right.
come home.
Right. Right. What do you
So
have a like a cutoff time, and how often do you go over that cutoff time? Like for when is there a time in the day where you say that's it, I've stopped working now?
I really try to stop by 5.
Five. Okay.
The kids get home. Two of them get home at 3 o'clock, and then the other one usually is home about 4. Some days change because she has after school activities and stuff. But by that time, we eat dinner about 5:30.
Okay.
We eat a little bit earlier, and then we're very active with the kids. Whether it's softball or
Right.
tumbling or other things, and that usually is happening at 6:30 into the night, and that's generally Monday through Friday, and weekends are a little hectic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that usually 5 o'clock. I know by 4:30, I don't want to be going after any business at that time. I'm trying to get myself into a routine where I'm tracking data, knowing who I called, what I called, putting that on paper. I've been very, very, very bad on that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I need it every for the last 60 days, all I've heard is track everything, track everything, track everything.
Yeah.
And it eats me up because that's all I'm hearing, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
And so I have to. So I'm trying to track everything. And if I could take 15 to 30 minutes at the end of the day and put that down, cool. My thing is I have a lot on my plate. So or
Right.
like yesterday, I planned it. I started doing some work. I got a call about a listing.
Right.
And we ended up talking for 15, 20 minutes about it. And then I got a text message about something else, maybe one of my other listings. So it changed my plan, which was fine, but I have to be open to those things to say, all right, hey, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good changes. I just have to be open to it and say, hey, I could do this tomorrow, or stay committed to say, all right, now I need to take that 15 minutes and put that information
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
because we've got to track it. And yeah, whether it's a spreadsheet or something,
Well,
you
I
know,
think that
whatever it works.
you having that voice that you spoke about saying that, track it, track those things. Um that's a really good problem to have because
Yeah.
it's bad for the people that don't have that and they don't do it
Yep.
because they're kind of lost. So it's that awareness that you need to be doing it. That's where it starts. So
Well, when
uh,
we're running a business and you got to know your numbers, and you know, just like we were talking about, Michael saying, "Hey, he's got a 60% show rate." Cool. I didn't know where my number was, and I'm going off 100%. So now I'm already setting myself up for failure because I'm like, "Hey, cool.
right.
I'm going to set up 6 appointments, right? And if I get all 6 appointments four times, that's 24 agents,
Yep.
or 24 appointments a month." And so I was nearly double in my head versus actual numbers
That's
where
right.
people aren't going to show, people aren't going to join
Yep.
XYZ. And that's why you need to track stuff. That's why you need to look at these numbers. That's why you need to collaborate with great people and put them around you, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. I've always said that we need to know our numbers all the time. All the time.
So,
Track everything. It's a
yep.
bit tedious to begin with, but once you get into the habit of it, you'll thank yourself later for it. And it's
That's
awesome when
that's
you can 1 year from now look back and see the difference of how much more productive you are now than you were before. That's why I love tracking things
yep. I
on a
totally
daily.
agree, man. I love it. Dude, so let me tell you about this. And over the last 10 days, roller coaster of emotions for me. So I go to the EXP regional rally, right?
Yes.
I get to meet Hankovic, hear from Gene Frederick, so many other great people, Susan McLean. They were all out there just feeding us, and
Of course.
energy was off the charts. You know how it gets. I love that stuff, and I eat it up. Came back, I'm implementing. You know, I wrote down what I need to implement. I've got a ton of notes in my book here as well. And I'm just, I'm like almost on cloud nine. Just things are
Yep.
going really good.
Love it.
Wednesday comes up. I'm like, all right, let's get this. Let's do this. I'm gonna rock and roll. Let's go. In the meantime, I'm talking to a buyer, and we went out the Sunday before, and now this is about a $2 million buyer.
Okay.
Pretty, pretty big buyer, right? So, so we went out Sunday, and then again Monday, and I told them, hey, I'm going to be out of town on Tuesday for the regional rally, and they really, really love this house, and so it was super exciting, for them to find this house. It was a gorgeous home, by the way,
Right. I can imagine.
and it needs some updates and XYZ, and so I'm trying to do some due diligence for them. I'm talking to them on Wednesday, and just helping them with different contractors that could fix this or
Right.
remodel this, and just giving them stuff, giving them information.
Yeah.
Riding my way from the regional rally. Thursday comes, everybody's a little quiet, just doing stuff back in the swing of things. Um, Thursday night, the wife texts me, and it just felt very aggressive in text.
Okay.
And this
Yeah.
is this is about 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock. Like, and I don't like to text people this late,
Right.
especially clients. That's just not how I run my business. We just talked about, hey,
Yeah. We just said that. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
set those boundaries, right? And so she's coming at me, just asking me a lot of questions about off-market properties, XYZ, and it just felt aggressive. And I'm like, it was weird.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, because at this point, I'm like, hey, this is not a text conversation. This is a phone call, at least a phone
Right.
call. I
Right.
need to I need to hear your voice so I could understand a little bit better, right? So I say in text, can we talk tomorrow? And they say, sure, we're driving up to their parents' place, blah, blah, blah. And, we could call at this time. Cool. So they call. So we start talking, and awesome couple, young couple. They're getting ready to have their first baby. They're buying their first house. Just smart kids, and I say kids because I'm old.
Right, right.
But um, super awesome. And they tell me, Jason, we we've decided that we're not going to use you as our realtor anymore.
Oh,
And I'm like, well, what's going on? And they're like, we just don't feel like you are keeping up with the market and giving us every home that's available.
right.
And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And she went back into the off-market homes.
Okay.
The thing is, I've known these guys for 8 months and I've been in communication. They didn't want to start looking at homes until May. Their lease isn't up until October.
Right.
So they told me we don't want to start until May. So I'm giving them listings that are coming live on the market, sending them information, getting that out there. And something happened about this off market idea that planted a seed and took off.
Right.
And then they fired me.
Yeah.
So this happened. And, I look at it, man. I never want to work with somebody that doesn't want to work with me,
Of
and
course.
it's again not how I want to run my business. But that's where I look back and I'm like, man, I look at building relationships with people and I look at helping people and giving them everything I can. Yeah. And when that happened, man, Friday night sucked.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I was angry. Um, I felt like a lot was taken away from me because I had this goal, I had this vision, and I was excited for it. And helping these people was a key part of that vision. And it went away.
Yep.
Saturday, um, we had my oldest daughter Bryn's softball game. She says hi, by the way. I told her I was talking to you today. She says hi. I told her I'd tell her you I would say hi. We had a game on Saturday morning, so I've got to clear my head. I'm like, hey, business is business. I got to focus on these girls. I got to help them win. We lost.
Right.
That was our fifth loss on that softball team.
Right.
After that, I was just like, mm, I was so upset. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
upset now about work. I'm upset that we can't win in softball.
Yeah.
My Saturday, I just went quiet.
Right.
I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just in my head, just so Saturday night, we have a couple friends over. The Kentucky Derby was Saturday night, so we went to this big party. And I told my wife, I was like, I really don't want to go.
Right.
I
You
don't
weren't there.
want to socialize. I don't want to put
Yeah.
a face on. I don't want to do crap.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
want to. I just want to wallow in my pity right now. I don't even know. I just want to do my thing.
Yeah. We've all been there. Yeah.
Yeah. And she goes, well, I want you to do what you want to do. Ellie tells me, I'm like, I get you. So I'm standing there. I'm in my closet in my room, and I'm like, I want to hang out. I need to get out of my head. So I need
Yeah.
to clear the space, right? And so I'm realizing this in the moment that I should go. I should go out.
Okay.
So we end up going, um, we end up going out and having a couple fun, having some fun and have some food and everything. Um, and I lightened up. I started
Yeah.
having conversations and was able to get outside of my head and just talk to
Right.
people.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really good. Misery loves company.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't that I wanted to bring people down, but I needed people to help lift me up, right
Of
at that
course.
moment.
Of course.
And that's what it was. And I had some good conversations with some of my friends and stuff. And so that really helped. And so going into Sunday, and it was funny because one of my friends, he says, hey, get back on the horse and go after it.
Right.
And I'm like, great. So Sunday came, we went to church, did our thing, got back in the motion, still a little sour,
Still there. Yeah.
but not as bad as Friday
Of
night
course.
and Saturday was, right? So That was a big piece, brother. And I wanted to reach out to you, but I wanted to have more of this therapy session where I could see you. Um, because this stuff happens.
Yeah.
We lose clients. Either we fire them or they fire us in,
Okay,
in
fair.
cases,
Yeah.
and it's never a good time. And so um I live and learn from it. Um, I told them, on the phone, I said, hey, good luck with everything that you guys choose to do. If there's anything ever I could do, please let me know. Um, and I always leave that door open, and I do. I like the people. I think they're great people.
Yeah.
It just was, yeah, the situation totally sucked. Um,
Right.
and so now it's, coming back this week, and now I'm like, all right, I need to get my butt in gear
Right.
because I was accounting for that sale
Right.
in the month of June, and I've put 8 months of work into them that has just gone like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's a hard piece because now I only have one other client that I'm closing on in June. And so now I've got that roller coaster where my production has just sunk come Friday.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm just like, wow. And
It's
and just like we started today's conversation, that roller coaster's going down. And I've got some engine attraction stuff going, but I gotta increase production to go too.
yeah, yeah. It's that fine balance between how to explain this. Knowing where you want to be, which might be a little more than what you're capable of, because like when we set goals, we try and set them a little bit higher, knowing that if we don't quite make it, we're still doing pretty good,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's the balance between that and at the same time expecting too much of ourselves, because when we don't hit that expectation, that's when we feel like shit.
Yep.
So it's like, how do you do both? How do I aim for the stars and not feel bad if that doesn't happen because of the expectation level? It's
Yeah.
like,
It's your mind and it messes. I was flying in the
yeah,
stars. I'm in the
right.
stars. I was cruising, and yeah, all of a sudden the engines went out, and
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing with real estate. It's just so quick. It's
yeah.
so from one day to the next that something
Well,
like that can happen. It's
and
insane.
you have to balance everything, and you have to work your capacity, and that's where I look at it. I'm like, shame on me. I wasn't working on my full capacity because I was putting a lot into this couple.
Right.
And then I had a couple other deals. I've got a couple listings. I got a new listing coming up. So I have momentum, but it's that piece. It's like, oh man, I could have had different momentum if I would have known this a few months ago, but we are where we are.
Yep.
You live and learn and you grow from it. But man, I just wanted to share and be transparent about it. It's as sucky as that moment was, we bounced back. And you've
Totally.
got to tell yourself to get better and be better and learn from it and grow forward. And I even tried to introduce a couple luxury agents to them to potentially work a referral.
Right. Well,
Um,
there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
again, they could have great assistance, and maybe that off market piece was a big deal. I just think there's more to the story that I'm missing. But, at this
Well,
point,
maybe, but
yeah,
I think that everything happens for a reason,
yeah,
and we'll bounce back from it because you have 100% of the time. Otherwise,
yep.
you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be in real estate anymore. You would have given up and got a job somewhere, and that's it. It'd be done. Um, so that's what I think when things like that happen. It happened to me recently as well, something similar,
Hmm.
uh, with a seller, and it was like, okay, well, these things happen. Do you want to go with someone else? That's cool. And that's what I don't know. I was just thinking it's like it's okay. Yeah, it's a loss on my end. I lost the listing, lost potential income, blah blah blah, everything else. But I'll get over it just as I have 100% of every other single time that it's happened to me.
Yep.
Like, why would I not this time?
Right, right. It is, and you know, it was one of those two. It was a big moment because I told Kelly a few weeks ago, or well, excuse me, a few months ago, um, you know, with this client, and I said,
Mhm.
hey, if and when we get these guys closed, we could take that money, and my goal is to buy a Jeep.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and I said, we get these guys closed,
Yeah,
we take that commission and buy a Jeep.
yeah.
Like we don't use it for anything else. We're not going to put it in the budget. It's going to go straight. And that's our bonus this year.
Nice.
So it was nice. And now it got taken away.
Yeah,
So now I have to regroup and figure out how how do I get that bonus back?
right.
And you know, if you're talking $2 million in sales, you know, that if I'm averaging 400 per closed transaction, that's 5 deals, right?
Yeah, and it's not the same when it's 5 deals when it was going to be one. It's not the same. It's different. It's
Right.
we don't think about it the same
And,
way.
and yes, agreed. And so my capacity level for me to do five in a month is a
Oh,
challenge.
that's a whole other. Yeah, exactly. That's a
That's a
whole other.
whole new ball game. And so now I'm looking at it to say, all right, well, if I could do three a month for the next 4 months, that gives me 12. And I could work with those numbers a little bit more.
Right,
But I'm already looking at June. Well, we're, May here. Looking at June, I only have one closing.
right.
So for June, I could potentially get two, but uh,
Yeah, yeah. It's
you
getting close.
know, so that means I would need July, August, September, and October to have three closings, which September and October are going to be a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where it's hard, you know, but you've got to forecast to say, and it, I don't like to say the word hard. It's going to be a challenge and I need to rise up and I need to get there.
It's hard. Yeah,
Right.
it is.
And overcome this challenge and make it happen, man. And, I know you're going to be there to support me too, but I just really wanted to share that. And I didn't want to send it over a video or a text. I wanted to actually
Right, right.
have a conversation with you about it. And,
No, I appreciate it.
I'm excited we can. And I appreciate you, man. I know you're a great listener and great leader too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you telling me. It's not easy to open up about these things. I would, well, first of all, I can't wait for the day that you send me a selfie video sitting in a Jeep. That'll be cool. That's
Awesome.
something to visualize and think about.
I love
Um,
it.
and then also on the other hand, I think it's a classic sales mistake, maybe. I don't know what the word is, to focus too much on the outcome before it's 100% there. Because I was it today or yesterday? I just told
No,
my wife
that's, I know where
I
you're going.
got I got this going on and it's gonna be awesome, blah blah blah. But there's nothing signed, there's no money transferred yet, and I catch myself doing it. I'm like, I've done this too many times before and it's burnt me out and nothing's gone through. So let's just detach ourselves from the outcome at the moment and see what happens.
100%.
Yeah.
That I'm always like that.
Yeah, it's
And
habit.
I jumped the gun on this and I was just looking at how business was moving and it was
And you're right in that
I
high from the events as well. You know, that's all
yeah,
together. Yeah.
and it was just that where I was like, hey, if we could keep business moving how we're moving it, this big purchase, excuse me, can be that big bonus. And that and I don't like to look at the commission before we're going to closing table.
Right, right,
That's again because I feel like it's a jinx for me to say, yeah, it's your mind's not in the right spot. Help that family, get them to the closing table, get that finished. Cool. That's reward.
right,
Um,
right.
is that's a bonus is the money, whatever it is. So
That's it. That's it.
so I
No,
appreciate you, brother. And man, and I'm super grateful you've been sharing, with Maria and everybody else growing, and it's so cool because that's it. I was down. You're shooting skyrockets. The rest of the champions are shooting skyrockets. Both in Spain, both around the world, in the
right.
United States, Portugal. So many great champions we have part of this organization, and I'm super grateful for each and every one of you guys as you're watching. And
Yeah,
keep taking it off because we do hit low moments. And if we as the leaders can help you grow, please let us know. And whether it's a growth mindset, whether it's growing professionally, whether it's growing
fundamentals.
for your business, growth can be so many different ways. It's not always about recruiting. It's so many different mindsets of growth. So keep that in mind. Stay vulnerable, stay awesome. And Ian, I appreciate you, man. So love
That's
you,
it.
buddy.
Remember that we do what you do, so we know what it's like. Reach out. We got the same problems, same issues. So let's do it together, work on it together. And like Jason said, let's just grow and keep moving forward. Stumble through it. That's what we do, and it works 100% of the time. So just keep going.
Keep keep stumbling. Move forward progression.
That's it. Awesome. Thank
Good
you
to
so
see you,
much.
man. Good.